Our question comes from Carl Dorwin, who writes, "Sometimes when we see a theatrical version of a movie, it is PG-13, but when the movie goes to DVD or Blu-ray, we may get the extended rated R version. So I'm curious, rather than releasing the rated R version onto DVD, why not also release the rated R version into theaters so people can have a choice? That way, if we want to take our kids, we can go see the PG-13 version, and if we want to go with our adult friends, we can go see the R version. After all, we do have a choice to go see a movie in 2D or 3D, so would this ever happen, and do you think it will boost the gross of movies since everyone will now have a fair chance to enjoy them?"
Very interesting question that you raised there, Carl. No, I don't think it would be a good move, and I don't think it's a move that anybody would ever do. Look, I'm kind of a fan of the idea of there is one movie. I don't personally, now this is just me personally, I'm not saying that you shouldn't think the way you do on this, but personally, I don't like the idea of there being different versions of a film. Now, it's one thing for there to be a 2D and a 3D because they're still the same movie. It's still the exact same film. It just changes your viewing experience a little bit. But cutting together a PG-13 version of a film and then cutting together a different version of the film, an R-rated version, and then putting it on theaters, I don't, just generally speaking as a film fan, I don't like that notion that these are essentially two different movies. But the other thing is this. In the United States of America, if you want to go to a movie with your kids, you can still do that to an R-rated film. I mean, it might say something about your poor parenting skills, but if you wanted to take your 12-year-old son to go see an R-rated film, you can. As long as your 12-year-old son is there under the supervision of an adult, in this case you, then you can do that. You just may not actually want to do that. But here's the real main problem. The main problem with the idea of releasing a PG-13 and an R-rated thing is that there are only so many movie screens. So if you wanted to put out 22 Jump Street and have a PG-13 version of it and an R-rated version, there simply may not be the screens for it to go around. And on top of that, if you were to put out 21 Jump Street, you're not going to get twice as many people going to see it. You're probably going to get the same amount of, let's say 1 million people are going to go see the film. Or let's, for argument's sake, we'll say 1 million people. It's not, if you put out a PG-13 and an R-rated, that number is not suddenly going to jump to 2 million. It's maybe going to jump to maybe 1.1 million. But now you're putting it in twice as many screens and you're cutting in half the amount of people that are seeing each showing. Financially, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for the studios. And as a film fan, I don't like the idea of there being two different versions of a film. Anyway, Schnepp, how do you see this?
Well, I agree with many of your points, but also let's flip it a little bit. Let's say this could be the way. I mean, studios have forever, since DVD came out, have been double dipping the buyers. They would come out with a version, then they would come out with a version like 3 years later with deleted scenes, and they would come out with another version that was recut by the director's cut. So there's versions of those kinds of films, more than 10, more than 100, thousands of films have been recut by their directors or their producers to be expanded upon, added scenes, alternate endings, and that's just always been kind of a DVD and now Blu-ray kind of thing. Like, hey, if you liked seeing this movie and you want to own it, here's some different versions of this film. What we've seen in the last few years, especially with films recently, like I'll use World War Z as an example. Now, like World War Z is online, and you buy the unrated version. So that's all you see. Spring Breakers, the unrated version. There's all these different films that are like come out with either a PG-13 or an R, and then they come out unrated on a pay-per-view and on Blu-ray. So I'm going to say why not just release both versions, and that way films like Wolverine aren't going to get neutered, which I thought it was a kind of watching a neutered experience when I saw the Wolverine. It could have been better. Not with just gore, and I'm not just saying just adding blood makes a movie better, but being PG-13 kind of puts blinders on the filmmaker. They have this, now you can only do this, and don't look over here and don't look over there because you can't do that. I think it limits the creative process of letting a film be what it's supposed to be. If you do make a PG-13 and an R-rated version and release one, it's digital now, so you can alternate every day. It could be more confusing. It could set up a whole new set of horrible nightmares, but look at it as like a variant comic book cover. Here's the PG-13 version, but we also have the R-rated version. If you really want to see that, that's at 10 o'clock. So I don't know. I say studios should try it and see what happens.
I think you're right though when you no I think this whole idea, like in principle it sounds nice. Hey, let's have this version out and this version out. But in the practical real world, I think you used the right word, Schnepp. It would be a nightmare. It would cause a lot of confusion. And if you put it on two separate screens, let's say like you have a film like 22 Jump Street coming out, okay? And at your local 8-theater Cineplex, it's going to take up 2 screens because it's going to be popular. Well, now you got to put it on 4 screens or 3 screens or whatever. Now you're adding more screens, which means other movies that other people may want to see are being pushed out of the theater sooner because we're taking up multiple screens. And the idea of, okay, the 7 o'clock show will be the PG-13, the 9 o'clock show will be the R, and the 11:15 will be PG-13. I just think that creates a really impractical nightmare. And once again, it adds to the expense of putting these movies into theaters, and I don't think it's going to add much to the box office total. So I think we're okay with where we are with the whole notion of, hey, if we want different version, have different options, wait till it comes out on home video. And then when it's out on home video, you can buy your theatrical version, or you can buy your uncut version, or you can buy your director's cut version, or you can buy your uncensored version. You can get whatever you want. More power to you, Mr. George Lucas. But I think when you're putting a film out in theater right now, like I gotta say again, I agree with the sentiment of the idea. I just don't think it works out practically. That's just my thought on it. And Aaron, what do you think?
I don't agree with the sentiment of this idea because the version of the film I want to see is the version that the filmmakers wanted to create. That's the version I'm interested in as a consumer. And I'm also more interested in having options when I go to a movie theater so I can choose whatever type of film I want to see. And that if it's PG or if it's PG-13 or R, I mean, my decision process will allow me to choose what type of movie, but I don't think that I want to see multiple versions of the exact same movie to cater to who I'm with or what I want to see. If I really want to see the R version of World War Z, I will find a way to see it, whether it's in theaters or not. So there's that. Thanks for the question, though, Carl.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really great question because it also
it is a great
question. Yeah, it's a great question.
It goes into all the derivations of what we just talked about, and it's like I think studios will eventually try that because, but I think it damages the film going experience. It hurts movies in general, hurts storylines. Like, we'll produce it as a PG movie, then we'll release the hard X version online. You know, it's like, what are we making? You know. It's like decide.
That's the version of the Smurfs that I'm waiting to see. By the way, I'm holding out.
I feel like that already exists somewhere.
All right.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.